Hello students, this is Mrs. Sonal Patil. Today we will begin with chapter 11, that is Biotechnology Principles and Processes. To begin with introduction, the term biotechnology was coined by Karl Ehricke, a Hungarian engineer in 1919. It is derived from the fusion of biology and technology. Biotechnology may be defined as the utilization of biological entities in such a way that they utilize biological entities, their components or constituents in such a way that some products or services is generated. The products or services generated should obviously enhance human welfare. So, biotechnology deals with the techniques of using live organisms or enzymes from organisms to produce products and processes useful to humans. In this sense, making curd, bread, or wine, which are all microbe mediated processes, could also be thought as a form of biotechnology. However, it is used in a restricted sense today to refer to such of those processes which are use genetically modified organisms to achieve the same or on a larger scale. Further, many other processes or techniques are also included under biotechnology. For example, in vitro fertilization leading to a test tube baby, synthesizing a gene and using it, developing a DNA vaccine, or correcting a defective gene are all part of biotechnology. The European Federation of Biotechnology has given a definition of biotechnology that encompasses both traditional view and modern molecular biotechnology. The definition given by European Federation of Biotechnology is as follows: the integration of natural science and organisms, cells, parts thereof, and molecular analogues for products and services. Coming to the principles of biotechnology, among many, the two core techniques that enabled birth of modern biotechnology are the genetic engineering and maintenance of sterile ambience. Genetic engineering, nothing but the techniques to alter the chemistry of genetic material to introduce these into host organisms and thus change the phenotype of the host organism. Maintenance of sterile ambience means microbial contamination free ambience has been created in chemical engineering processes to enable growth of only the desired microbe or eukaryotic cell in large quantities for the manufacture of biotechnological products like antibiotics, vaccines, enzymes, etc. So these are the two principles of biotechnology. Very, very important question. Principles of biotechnology they will ask. So you have to mention genetic engineering and the maintenance of sterile ambience. Traditional hybridization procedures used in plant and animal breeding very often lead to inclusion and multiplication of undesirable genes along with the desired genes. The techniques of genetic engineering, which include creation of recombinant DNA, use of gene cloning, and gene transfer, overcome this limitation and allows us to isolate and introduce only one or a set of desirable genes without introducing undesirable genes into the target organism. Most likely, this piece of DNA would not be able to multiply itself in the progeny cells of the organism, but when it gets integrated into the genome of the recipient, it may multiply and be inherited along with the host DNA. This is because the alien piece of DNA has become part of chromosome which has the ability to replicate. In a chromosome, there is a specific DNA sequence called the origin of replication, which is responsible for initiating replication. Therefore, for the multiplication of any alien piece of DNA in any organism or in an organism, it needs to be a part of a chromosome which has a specific sequence known as origin of replication. Thus, an alien DNA is linked with the origin of replication so that this alien piece of DNA can replicate and multiply itself in the host organism. This can also be called as cloning or making multiple identical copies of any template DNA. The construction of the first recombinant DNA emerged from the possibility of linking a gene encoding antibiotic resistance with a native plasmid of Salmonella typhimurium. Stanley Cohen and Herbert Boyer accomplished this in 1972 by isolating the antibiotic resistant gene by cutting out a piece of DNA from a plasmid which was responsible for conferring antibiotic resistance. The cutting of DNA at specific locations became possible with the discovery of the so called molecular scissors, the restriction enzymes. The cut piece of DNA was then linked with the plasmid DNA. These plasmid DNA act as vectors to transfer the piece of DNA attached to it. A plasmid can be used as vector to deliver an alien piece of DNA into the host organism. The linking of antibiotic resistance gene with the plasmid vector became possible with the enzyme DNA ligase, which acts on cut DNA molecules and joins their ends. This makes a new combination of circular, autonomously replicating DNA created in vitro and is known as recombinant DNA. When this DNA is transferred into E. coli, that is Escherichia coli, a bacteria closely related to Salmonella, it could replicate using a new host DNA polymerase enzyme and make multiple copies. The ability to multiply copies of antibiotic resistance gene in E. coli was called cloning of antibiotic resistant gene in E. coli. Hence, infer that there are three basic steps in genetically modifying an organism. That is, firstly, identification of DNA with the desirable genes. Secondly, introduction of the identified DNA into the host. Thirdly, maintenance of introduced DNA in the host and transfer of the DNA to its progeny. So these are the basic steps involved. Coming to the tools of recombinant DNA technology, important key tools used in genetic engineering or rDNA technology are the restriction enzymes, vectors, host organism, polymerases, ligases, and bioreactor. So the first one is restriction enzymes. In the year 1963, the two enzymes responsible for restricting the growth of bacteriophage in E. coli were isolated. One of these added methyl groups to DNA while the other cut DNA. The latter was called restriction endonuclease. The first restriction endonuclease HIND2, HIND2, or you can call it as, whose functioning depended on a specific DNA nucleotide sequence, was isolated and characterized 5 years later. It was found that HIND2 always cut DNA molecules at a particular point by recognizing a specific sequence of 6 base pairs. This specific base sequence is known as recognition sequence for HIND2. Besides HIND2, today we know more than 900 restriction enzymes that have been isolated from over 230 strains of bacteria, each of which recognize different recognition sequences. The convention for naming these enzymes is the first letter of the name comes from the genus. So the first letter of naming the enzymes comes from the genus, and the second two letters come from the species of the prokaryotic cell from which they were isolated. Example, E. coli comes from Escherichia coli RY13. In E. coli, the letter R is derived from the name of the strain. Roman numbers following the names indicate the order in which the enzymes were isolated from that strain of bacteria. Restriction enzymes belong to a larger class of enzymes called nucleases. There are two kinds of nucleases, exonucleases and endonucleases. Exonucleases remove nucleotides from the ends of the DNA, whereas endonucleases make cuts at specific position within the DNA. Each restriction endonuclease functions by inspecting the length of a DNA sequence. Once it finds its specific recognition sequence, it will bind to the DNA and cut each of the two strands of the double helix at specific points in their sugar phosphate backbones. Each restriction endonuclease recognizes a specific palindromic nucleotide sequences in the DNA. These palindromic sequences are nothing but they are the group of letters that form the same words when read both from forward as well as from backward direction. Example, Malayalam. You can just see here, if you read from the forward as well as from backward direction, it is the same. Okay, the meaning is the same of that. So these are called as palindromic sequences. They spell the same. As against a word palindrome where the same word is read in both direction, the palindrome in DNA is a sequence of base pair that reads same on the two strands when orientation of reading is kept the same. For example, the following sequence reads the same on the two strands in 5-2 3 dash direction. This is also true if it is read from 3 to 5 direction. You can just see over here, example is given. Restriction enzymes cut the strand of DNA a little away from the center of the palindrome sites, but between the same two bases on the opposite strands. This leaves single-stranded portions at the ends. There are overhanging stretches called sticky ends on each strand. These are named so because they form hydrogen bonds with their complementary cut counterparts. This stickiness of the ends facilitates the action of the enzyme DNA ligase. Restriction endonucleases are used in genetic engineering to form recombinant molecules of DNA, which are composed of DNA from different sources or genomes. When cut by the same restriction enzyme, the resultant DNA fragment have the same kind of sticky ends, and these can be joined together using DNA ligases. So DNA ligases are used to join, whereas restriction endonucleases are used to cut the specific sequence of the DNA. Here they have shown how the enzyme is cuts both DNA strands at the same site. Okay, then the EcoRI cuts the DNA between the bases, that is, they have shown G and A only when the sequence is present in the DNA in this manner. So this is showing you the action of the restriction enzymes and how they are being joined. So how the sticky ends are produced have been shown, and then how they are being ligated. Coming to the separation and isolation of the DNA fragments, the cutting of DNA by restriction endonucleases results in the fragments of DNA. These fragments can be separated by a technique known as gel electrophoresis. Since DNA fragments are negatively charged molecules, they can be separated by forcing them to move towards the anode under an electric field through a medium or matrix. The most commonly used matrix is agarose, which is a natural polymer extracted from seaweeds. The DNA fragments separate according to their size through sieving effect provided by agarose gel. Hence, the smaller the fragment size, the farther it moves. The separated DNA fragments can be visualized only after staining the DNA with the compound known as ethidium bromide. So, ethidium bromide is used for staining the DNA, followed by the exposure to UV radiation. The separated bands of DNA are cut out from the agarose gel and extracted from the gel piece. This step is known as elution. The DNA fragments purified in this way are used in constructing recombinant DNA by joining them with cloning vectors. Here the gel electrophoresis has been shown. Diagram is again important, will be asked in the exam. So this technique of gel electrophoresis is again important from exam point of view. So today we will stop here, and in the next class we will study again the tools of genetic engineering. For today we'll stop here. Thank you.